So one thing EA Sports added to the most recent Maddens that have made it so special was the Superstar X Factor abilities. The ability to take what normally would be, like the best players in Madden and just push them even farther up the ranks to show how good they are, right? Obviously, players like Stephon Diggs right here. He's a Superstar X Factor. He does, of course, give you, let me go down to abilities, rack him up. He has Jukebox. He has Deep and Elite. He has Acrobat. And he also has another one you can add to him too. Now, today, I thought, well, that's cool. And also, Superstar X Factor lets you develop at the fastest rate possible to get you a Superstar and Zone abilities, and also lets you raise your overall as fast as possible. So I thought today, well, what if every single player in the NFL has a Superstar X Factor ability to them? You can see right there it says Superstar. They haven't chose their ability yet. But as I was saying though, guys, every single player, and I'm just going to keep scrolling down here, in the NFL, including free agents, including the upcoming draft class, is going to have a Superstar X Factor ability. This means they're going to progress at the fastest rate humanly possible. They are going to get the best stats possible, have the best performances possible. Now, keep in mind that players can lose their Superstar X Factor ability. Some players, for example, could have it 1 week and then lose it in a couple weeks later, depending on how they are playing and how much they regress. So I'm not expecting by the end of the season for every single player possible, but as you can see, even Nathan Peterman. Okay, Nathan freaking Peterman has a Superstar X Factor ability. Let's give him trust. Now, based on the overall, based on how much actual abilities they get, but they can all get a Superstar X Factor no matter who it is. And again, like I said, guys, I can't stress this enough. Even Emmanuel Wilson, every single player. Let's look at free agency. I don't know free agency. I believe it does show you when a player is a Superstar X Factor. Let me see. Free agency. Every single free agent is a Superstar X Factor. Sorry for that pause right there. I was just trying to make sure. I was like, it's not showing up on here. Is something going up there? No, they're all Superstar X Factors. So, I'm going to go ahead now and sim one game and see what happens, because now I'm kind of interested in if every team's going to be good. And also, alright, so now taking a look at our squadron, let's see which abilities was put on which players. So, starting off right away, we got Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, got Bazooka. Okay, so keep in mind the computer's going to put choose random abilities and X Factors for every single player in the game. Okay, interesting. And obviously the rookies like this, for example, they do have Superstar X Factor. It's just that right now it's hidden. As you know, whenever the rookies are always hidden. Development trait. So overall wise, it looks like we got some interesting ones. Now, depending on the overall, some players do not get Superstar X Factors. So, for example, no, not Superstar X Factors. They don't get the X Factors. They still get the ability slots. For example, this guy right here, but he's a 63, so he doesn't get an X Factor. So it kind of does suck that some players don't get X Factors. It is what it is. That's just how it works. That's how the cookie crumbles, as they would say. Alright, so we have to upgrade our players throughout the year because they're going to get a lot of upgrades, especially with Superstar X Factors. New ability unlocked! Yeah, this is going to be every single week, man. This is going to be every single week here. Alright, so week 2. Let's go, boys. Come on, Bills. Let's turn this season around, unlike real life, it feels like. I'll be honest with you. I wonder how many bad teams are going to be really freaking good. That's what I will say. So, hold up. Let me go over to, not stats. Let's go over to schedule. I mean, is there any, crazy teams right now who are winning, the last couple of weeks? I mean, nothing too insane. Whoa, I thought a 35-7 game. What's going on there? Philadelphia destroyed New England. Well, see, beginning of the year, that would actually look kind of weird. Now, doesn't look weird at all. And this also doesn't look weird at all. It's kind of funny how times have changed and, our opinions on teams have also changed on how we feel you know, which teams are good and which teams are just like, I don't know if that's too crazy to see that team lose that bad. All right, week 3 here. We're 0-3. How are we 0-3? I mean, I guess everyone has Superstar X Factors, but still. Oh, man. I'm just going to sim to the playoffs, guys. I don't know about this Bills squad. Now going to the playoffs. This was my every week, by the way. Let's take a look. So we are 8-9, and we missed the playoffs. The Dolphins are 9-8. They made the playoffs. They won the division. AFC was pretty much just loaded with 10-7, 11-6s, and 11 and 15-2s. And then we got to the bad teams. Now, here's the thing that's kind of weird. The AFC had 2 teams that were 5-12. And then the NFC had 5 teams that were 5-12. And 5-12 was the worst record in the NFL. So, yeah, that's interesting. I guess. Very interesting. Alright, what I want to see is the rosters. Like, who are the best quarterbacks? Did every quarterback get an increase? Okay, so Lamar's a 99. I don't think he's a 99 going into this year. He might be. He might be high up there. Joe Burrow's a 98. Dak Prescott's a 98. Jalen Hurts a 97. Josh Allen's a 97. I feel like some of these quarterbacks are not that high overall. It shouldn't be after year 1. Maybe I'm crazy to say that, but I feel like not every single quarterback here should be that high up. Now, keep in mind, every single quarterback here still has their X Factor ability. So, no one lost their X Factor ability at the quarterback position, which is actually kind of cool. So, they're all same old everything. Alright, so let's go to halfbacks. Christian McCaffrey, these both are 99s. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Okay, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne. It looks like nobody here lost a Superstar X Factor ability either, which is cool. But I will say what I'm interested in is not many of these guys really progress that drastically. And I guess, like, technically speaking, again, you know, just because you have Superstar X Factor and you're progressing at the fastest rate possible, doesn't mean you're automatically going to become, like, a 80 overall to, like, a 99, obviously. But I expect to see a little bit, I feel like, more, like, you know, progression-wise in some of these guys than we have seen so far. But yeah, maybe I'm expecting too much here. Maybe after a couple seasons, things will get a little bit different, right? Things will change it up a tad bit. So, overall, nothing too crazy special. I'm going to see cornerbacks for some reason here. Yeah, nothing too crazy after one season. Now, let's see who wins the Super Bowl. That's kind of what I'm interested in now, to see who actually wins the Super Bowl. And then we'll take a look at stats and break down the stats of each of these guys and potentially X factors. Does it give anyone extreme, you know, stats for going ahead and getting them? So, Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chargers. Okay, now that's an interesting Super Bowl. Who was the stat leader at quarterback? That's my next question. Dak Prescott. Well, who had the most touchdowns? Dak Prescott had 41 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You give this guy Superstar X Factor and he does that? I don't know. Is he Superstar X Factor in regular Madden? I feel like he's not. Whoa. Why did Patrick Mahomes have such a bad season? 34 touchdowns, 10 interceptions? What's going on here, bro? Everyone has Superstar X Factor on offense and defense, and now apparently Patrick Mahomes just got absolutely destroyed. The Cowboys look so much better with Superstar X Factors at every single position. Yeah, that's insane. Saquon is still, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, still top of the league. That's nothing real weird or different there. Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb both have 18 touchdowns. Najee Harris has 16 touchdowns with that Superstar X Factor. Okay, wide receivers, what we got here? Now that's offensive lineman. Tyreek Hill, pretty expected. CeeDee Lamb expected. Keenan Allen. KJ Osborne. Okay. Mr. Superstar X Factor KJ Osborne. That's not expected, I'll be honest with you. Josh Downs. What's his overall now? He's an 87? Okay, and he's also out. He's out with injury. So I wonder how long he's been out for injury for. Defensively, any crazy stats totals? 22.5. That's not crazy. That's not crazy. That's not crazy. That's kind of expected. Okay, so sacks are pretty much expected. I don't think Tre'Davious White is expected to get 10 interceptions in the season. I'll definitely tell you that. Logan Wilson getting 6 is actually realistic somehow, because he didn't get 6 this year, but he's had a lot this year. There's a lot of defensive touchdowns. Holy crap, there's a lot of defensive touchdowns. All right, any kick returns? Nope. Punt returns, there's been 1 in the whole year. And it's also Agnew. All right, who won the MVP? Dak Prescott. Well, that was pretty much obvious. John Harbaugh won that. Who won Rookie of the Year? Offensive Rookie of the Year for AFC, Rashee Rice. Defense, Will Anderson, okay. Defense, Emmanuel Forbes and Jordan Addison. Like, Emmanuel Forbes was a bust pick anyway in real life. I mean, this hasn't worked out so far for the Commanders. Who won the Super Bowl is my question. Let's see. Survey says, will the Bills win their first Super Bowl? And they will not, because they were not in the Super Bowl. It was the Chargers. So that might be a little bit of a problem for that said reason. But let's go ahead and get into free agency. Now going to the playoffs. This was my every week, by the way. Let's take a look. So we are 8-9, and we missed the playoffs. The Dolphins are 9-8. They made the playoffs. They won the division. AFC was pretty much just loaded with 10-7, 11-6s, and 11 and 15-2s. And then we got to the bad teams. Now, here's the thing that's kind of weird. The AFC had 2 teams that were 5-12. And then the NFC had 5 teams that were 5-12. And 5-12 was the worst record in the NFL. So, yeah, that's interesting, I guess. Very interesting. Alright, what I want to see is the rosters. Like, who are the best quarterbacks? Did every quarterback get an increase? Okay, so Lamar's a 99. I don't think he's a 99 going into this year. He might be. He might be high up there. Joe Burrow's a 98. Dak Prescott's a 98. Jalen Hurts a 97. Josh Allen's a 97. I feel like some of these quarterbacks are not that high overall. It shouldn't be after year 1. Maybe I'm crazy to say that, but I feel like not every single quarterback here should be that high up. Now, keep in mind, every single quarterback here still has their X Factor ability. So no one lost their X Factor ability at the quarterback position, which is actually kind of cool. So they're all same old everything. All right, so let's go to halfbacks. Christian McCaffrey, these both are 99s. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Okay, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne. It looks like nobody here lost a Superstar X Factor ability either, which is cool. But I will say what I'm interested in is not many of these guys really progressed that drastically. And I guess, like, technically speaking, again, you know, just because you have Superstar X Factor and you're progressing at the fastest rate possible, doesn't mean you're automatically going to become, like, a 80 overall to, like, a 99, obviously. But I expect to see a little bit, I feel like, more, like, you know, progression-wise in some of these guys than we have seen so far. But, yeah, maybe I'm expecting too much here. Maybe after a couple seasons, things will get a little bit different, right? Things will change it up a tad bit. So, overall, nothing too crazy special. I'm going to see cornerbacks for some reason here. Yeah, nothing too crazy after one season. Now, let's see who wins the Super Bowl. That's kind of what I'm interested in now, to see who actually wins the Super Bowl. And then we'll take a look at stats and break down the stats of each of these guys and potentially X factors. Does it give anyone extreme, you know, stats for going ahead and getting them? So, Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chargers. Okay, now that's an interesting Super Bowl. Who was the stat leader at quarterback? That's my next question. Dak Prescott. Well, who had the most touchdowns? Dak Prescott had 41 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You give this guy Superstar X Factor and he does that? I don't know. Is he Superstar X Factor in regular Madden? I feel like he's not. Whoa. Why did Patrick Mahomes have such a bad season? 34 touchdowns, 10 interceptions? What's going on here, bro? Everyone has Superstar X Factor on offense and defense, and now apparently Patrick Mahomes just got absolutely destroyed. The Cowboys look so much better with Superstar X Factors at every single position. Yeah, that's insane. Saquon is still, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, still top of the league. That's nothing real weird or different there. Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb both have 18 touchdowns. Najee Harris has 16 touchdowns with that Superstar X Factor. Okay, wide receivers, what we got here? Now that's offensive lineman. Tyreek Hill, pretty expected. CeeDee Lamb expected. Keenan Allen. KJ Osborne. Okay. Mr. Superstar X Factor KJ Osborne. That's not expected, I'll be honest with you. Josh Downs, what's his overall now? He's an 87? Okay, and he's also out. He's out with injury. So I wonder how long he's been out for injury for. Defensively, any crazy stats totals? 22.5, that's not crazy. That's not crazy, that's not crazy. That's kind of expected. Okay, so sacks are pretty much expected. I don't think Tre'Davious White is expected to get 10 interceptions in the season. I'll definitely tell you that. Logan Wilson getting 6 is actually realistic somehow, because he didn't get 6 this year, but he's had a lot this year. There's a lot of defensive touchdowns. Holy crap, there's a lot of defensive touchdowns. Alright, any kick returns? Nope. Punt returns, there's been 1 in the whole year. And it's also Agnew. Alright, who won the MVP? Dak Prescott. Well, that was pretty much obvious. John Harbaugh won that. Who won Rookie of the Year? Offensive Rookie of the Year for AFC, Rashee Rice. Defense, Will Anderson. Okay. Defense, Emmanuel Forbes and Jordan Addison. Like, Emmanuel Forbes was a bust pick anyway in real life. I mean, this hasn't worked out so far for the Commanders. Who won the Super Bowl is my question. Let's see. Survey says, will the Bills win their first Super Bowl? And they will not, because they were not in the Super Bowl. It was the Chargers. So that might be a little bit of a problem for that said reason. But let's go ahead and get into free agency, guys. Alright, so now let's go to free agency and see who's available. So far I actually skipped forward 1 week, so I want to see who actually got signed. It looks like some of these guys did actually lose their Superstar X Factor ability. So Stephon Gilmore dropped down to a normal development trait. That's kind of disappointing, man. Not all these players, but some of these guys are no longer Superstar X Factors. I mean, it's not too surprising because most of them should not have been Superstar X Factors going into this. But still, you know, you would like to see some of these guys continue to have them, you know, throughout this whole entire franchise. Now I'm kind of curious to see who does and who doesn't have the Superstar X Factor abilities anymore. And keep in mind, again, guys, everyone in this upcoming draft is going to have a Superstar X Factor ability. So, for everyone who lost it, Dak Prescott lost his. Oh, man. Dak, why you like this, bro? Josh Allen still has his, it looks like. Justin, okay, so some guys still have theirs. Not every single player. Kenny Pickett still has his. Desmond Ridder still has his. Sam Howell still has his. Okay. I'm trying to see all the players who potentially still have theirs. And it looks like that might be it for, at least for starting quarterbacks. So, a lot of players lost their Superstar X Factor ability. Doesn't mean it didn't help them for the time that they did have it. Obviously, it did. You know, it definitely probably brought up their overalls. But with that being said, again, like I said, every single player, all 3,000 players? Hang on, hold up. So it's 32 picks, right? Times by 7. 224 players who are in the draft class here, excluding the undrafted free agents, who actually are even more, all have their Superstar X Factor ability. So we have the 14th overall pick. No matter who we pick here, we're going to get a Superstar X Factor. So, you know, I'm going to take a left outside linebacker. So chances are this guy is going to have Superstar X Factor. And he's a hidden development trait. What do you know? He most likely, 99% chance, will have a Superstar X Factor. Alright, second round pick. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a draft genius, right? This guy right here, Superstar X Factor. Wow, he's a hidden development trait. That's kind of weird. Man, I'm trying to think that there's something going on here. Some collusion. Alright. Right guard in the 3rd round. Close my eyes. Pick him. Hidden development tree. Okay, guys, yeah. Every single player has Superstar X Factor. No matter what round it is, no matter who it is. You know, I tried to get a little creative there, get a little cute there, and you know, it is what it is, okay? So, middle linebacker, 4th round. Let's take this guy. I'm not going to keep doing the joke, but yeah. 5th round pick. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter who we take. They're all going to be good, obviously. Over time, they will, looks like in Madden, just absolutely lose the Superstar X Factor ability within like a day or two, which is kind of disappointing, I'll be honest. But they're also not going to get their Superstar X Factor ability until like, what, halfway through the season? So that's another thing to take into consideration. They're not even getting it right away. They're going to get like probably like week 8 or week 9 of the season. After a lot of, you know, they get a lot of snaps, and certain players might not ever get enough snaps to get that ability right away. It's going to be a long process. I'll say it like that. Let's go wide receiver here. Why not? For craps and giggles, we'll go with Mario here. And how many picks do we have left? We have a couple picks here. We'll go with a cornerback. Maybe he could be good. If he's a Superstar X Factor, you know, maybe he could progress somewhat for this team. And our last pick, the final pick, is going to be a Superstar X Factor punter. I think we probably already have our punter from before, but whatever. So now we have 223 plus undrafted free agents. Superstar X Factors in the game. So we're now just adding to that total. So all the players that we lost, technically, in a way, a lot of them got replaced. So a lot of the ones that lost the Superstar X Factor over the first year now got replaced with new ones and new players. So, for example, you can see our best overall in the draft was an 84 overall left guard. All these guys are just going to be interested to see how they progress through the years. So let's go ahead and get to the regular season. All right, so now going into the next season, I want to see... Actually, let's see our roster real fast. So who still has their ability? Nathan, we didn't... Actually, no. He lost his ability then. 1 year guy? So, yeah, he had to lose his ability because he had ability before. Running back-wise, we don't have anyone with an ability other than our main running back. Gabe Davis lost his ability. Is he still like a superstar? He's still a star, but... Man, all these guys just lost their abilities. It's kind of disappointing, not gonna lie to you. I was kind of having a lot of promise that, you know, they would do something special with their abilities and maybe keep them, play good football, become absolute crazy great players, but instead we're kind of in this situation where these guys aren't really that special anymore now. Alright, so let's go ahead and sim to the postseason, guys, because I want to see what ends up happening here. Alright, so this went a lot better in the second season than it did in the first season. We went 13-4 and made the playoffs. So I'm actually a lot happier about this season than last season. But let's go ahead and take a look at our standings and where we kind of stand with everything. So starting off right away, the AFC 16-1 Cowboys. And Dak Prescott lost his Superstar X Factor ability too. That's crazy. It was a lot better than last season, I'll be honest with you. Like, overall, I feel like team overalls wise. Now, I want to see how good is this rookie class that we just had. Like, how successful were they? So, Will Anderson is still the youngest. Wait. Hold up. Am I crazy right now? Like, the youngest class that we just had. How is Will Anderson Jr. and these guys the youngest guys? So that means these guys were like 21 out of college. I didn't realize these guys were 21 out of college. And every player in our future draft here was over 21 out of college. That is crazy. All right, so I'm just surprised here. Okay, so starting off right away, our left guard for the Bears. I think he was the best player in the draft. He's an 87 overall Superstar X Factor, so that's kind of cool. Team captain, too. Shout out to him for that. All right, so who else we got here? We got the Maxwell Skeleton, 88 overall Superstar X Factor. He has Blitz Radar, too. Interesting. We have a... that's Breece Hall. That's not a made-up player. I don't know why I thought that was a made-up player for a second. Okay, I think we have to go by position. There's a lot of players in the NFL. Here we go. So we got Nathan Jones, who's a 71 Superstar X Factor. We have Jason McCarron, who is a 61. We have JJ Lennon, who's a 85 overall Superstar X Factor. Okay. 74 overall Superstar X Factor. Actually, he's not a Superstar X Factor. Why are you not a Superstar X Factor? You're hidden development because you haven't played enough. That would be why. Yeah, so if they haven't played enough, they don't actually get their abilities yet. So, Clifton, 63 overall. Will, okay, so it doesn't look like anyone else is in crazy here. We have a 79 overall Nick Robertson. This might be the best quarterback draft class we have seen in a very long time because there's a, well, not because of Superstar X Factors, but because of the fact that there's so many actual positive quarterbacks in that draft class. Like, what is that, like 6 or 7 quarterbacks who are actually pretty good? Running back class, too. I mean, we got 2 Superstar X Factor running backs here, obviously at the top of the list there. 71s, okay. We got a 77 overall. We got a 75. And 80 nothing, okay. 75, okay. I'm trying to see the highest overall from that draft class. How is Kenneth Walker? Kenneth Walker, that Superstar X Factor ability, he never lost it. And he just absolutely is a monster with that Superstar X Factor ability. Marion McPherson, okay. We have, that's a real life guy. So nothing too crazy special there. I mean, I don't want to say too crazy special. It's still great, but 83 overall Superstar X Factor wide receiver, 77, 75. Okay, is there any like crazy overall? I'm trying to look like the craziest overall. And the sad part is I can't sort it by every single team because it's not going to show me the craziest overall possible. This draft class feels like it was old, man. 85 overall. That's probably our best non-offensive lineman we're going to get. Non-offensive lineman, not a quarterback, sorry. Is an 85, I feel like. We're probably not going to get anything better than that right away. Although left tackles, I mean, doesn't look like any left tackles are really that great from this draft class. Even Superstar X Factor abilities. Again, keep in mind, just because they have that means they progress faster, does not mean that they're that good of a player, though. If they're not a good player, they're not a good player. Okay, so this left guard obviously was the best. This guy was actually pretty good, too. Doesn't look like anyone too crazy special outside of that. At the center position, we have a... Yeah, this draft class was not good for certain positions. I'll tell you right now, this draft class was not good for certain positions. 75 overall right guard, 77 overall right guard. Okay, that's not bad. Anything else crazy? Doesn't look like it. Okay, right tackles. 79 overall right tackle. Wait, how did the Bengals select like 4 players in that from that class on the offensive line? I feel like they just went crazy on the offensive line and was just like, yeah, we're just going to get every single offensive lineman. It just happens to be the best freaking year possible to do that because you're going to get all guys who are going to slowly progress over time. The right end position was crazy. A 79, a 78, a 76. And these guys did not lose their ability, so they're just going to continue with their abilities throughout the rest of the time. All right, so I want to go ahead and now take a look at stats before we get into the playoffs and see what we can do in this playoffs here with the Buffalo Bills. Stat-wise, was Dak Prescott still the best quarterback of all time? He went 16-1 last year. I feel like he has to be, right? Yeah, 47 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's at this point now, it's just Dak Prescott's league, and we're all living in it. That's pretty much how this works. I thought that was Zach Wilson because I saw the Jets logo. And Dak won back-to-back MVPs. It's not really that surprising, let's be honest. Skeleton won that. Okay, Joe McQueen. Feels like a Lightning McQueen movie there. Alright, now we got the wild card playoff versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Something like that. So let's see what we get out of this one. Listen, Bills, we did so bad last season. I just want you to do okay, okay? Just do alright, do average, and win the game. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl this year. I would like to see that, especially with the fact we still have Superstar X Factors on this team. And that draft class was freaking loaded on Superstar X Factors, but... Okay, maybe I kind of want a Super Bowl, though, if you don't mind. Bills? They lost in the wild card round. Let's sim to see who wins the Super Bowl. Alright, so the Super Bowl is between the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Kind of want to see how this ends up turning out. Who's going to win this game? I'm going to say the Dolphins. Cowboys. Why am I not surprised? It seems like the best team in the league. Alright, so I want to see who actually still has the Superstar X Factor ability that's not a rookie at this point. Like, not a absolutely rookie. Because I feel like every single player probably lost the Superstar X Factor at this point. Not every single player, but majority of players, okay? Majority of players probably lost it. So, quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts lost his. Tua still has his. Does Sam Howell still have his? Because I feel like how would Sam Howell not have his still? Look at this. This right here is a superstar. Oh, he's not a Superstar X Factor. He's only a superstar now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So he was a Superstar X Factor, now he's a superstar. Same thing with Kenny Pickett. So that's so weird because if you don't choose your Superstar X Factor ability, it literally just says superstar. But then if you do choose your ability, it will say Superstar X Factor and then whatever your ability is. So it's kind of weird to see because like it could say superstar but be a superstar, but it could be Superstar X Factor and still say superstar. So yeah. Alright, well, it is what it is, man. What are you gonna do about it? Overall wise, guys, I'm gonna sim 10 years. I'm gonna see who wins and who loses in some of these, Super Bowls. And I want to see what ends up happening. Hang on, guys. Alright, so now I'm into 2030, and I kind of just want to take a look at what the NFL has come to. So, we still have 2 players here with X Factors. Dalton Kincaid doesn't have his anymore. Do we have any other players with X Factors outside of the first guy we have there? We only have 2 players now with Superstar X Factor abilities. Everybody else lost the Superstar X Factor's abilities. I'm, like, not surprised really that much, but at the same time, I guess it is what it is, man. That not everybody can keep them. Some players, well, a lot of players are going to lose them. Except for Sam Howell. You best believe Sam Howell has his Superstar X Factor ability. Why does he still have his Superstar X Factor ability this late? Oh, no, now he's Superstar. Okay, no, he wasn't Superstar X Factor. He's now Superstar. Let me correct myself. Forgot. It can now say Dak Prescott on the Patriots has a Superstar ability. So just because it says that doesn't mean they're Superstar X Factor anymore. They could still be Superstar, but just not Superstar X Factor. Bryce Young, for example. How did he lose his Superstar X Factor ability? Some of these guys, I'm just interested to see how they end up losing it, Like, obviously, listen, things happen. You get worse over time. You get worse over age. But just to see how these players lose them and how some players keep them, always interests me a lot. Alright, so Super Bowls over the year. The Bills won one. Nice. Won a Super Bowl. Jets won a Super Bowl. Lost a Super Bowl. Ravens won one. Ravens won back-to-back years. Cowboys won, and obviously that's where we left off. So, overall-wise, I mean, does it really change much to have Superstar X Factors on every single player? Not really. Not, like, too much crazier. Like, how much has it really improved? For example, Sam Howell's career. Well, he is a 94 Raw now, and he's not anything... He's not anything really special in all honesty, so I don't know. I mean, it definitely helps out the team, and you could contribute some of the wins and losses maybe to having Superstar X Factors or not having them. But other than maybe just doing that for the idea of how good they could have been, and obviously maybe they got like a +1, +2, maybe +3 overall boost because of a Superstar X Factor, Yeah, I don't think it really matters as much as I thought it would going into this. And again, like I said, some of these players, obviously, they're better because they have Superstar X Factor abilities. But it's not like it's a make or break. It's not going to make or break a player to say, like, oh, if he doesn't have a Superstar X Factor ability, he's not going to be good. Or he's going to be a lot better. So, for example, this guy right here, he's kept his Superstar X Factor ability. Should he have kept it? Probably not. You know, this guy right now in the NFL, I don't know. Let me see, Jelani Woods. What team are you even on right now? Jelani Woods is a tight end. He's 25 right now for the Indianapolis Colts. And I want to check this out real fast. So let me get out of this franchise. Real fast. I want to check out Jelani Woods. Like, what's his overall right now? How good is he as a player? All right, so now going into the rosters, let's check this out. So, Colts tight end Jelani Woods right now is a 70 overall. He's actually injured in real life, but he's a 70 overall right now. And what's his superstar? He has no Superstar X Factor, no nothing. And wait, let me look at his player card. Awards. Does he have like Superstar anything? No, he doesn't. Okay, so he's just a generic player. So again, like I said, this is kind of what, you know, is a strange thing about this franchise is some players can actually take off and can actually, you know, keep the Superstar X Factor ability. If they can, they'd be pretty successful. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.